Hello and welcome to Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Njoro, and today we're going to talk about the issue of working from home, which is now a new normal. Due to the COVID-19 pandemic, things have really changed. If you find yourself having to work from home, make sure that you have a nice little corner in your house. Your workspace should be neat and it should not be cluttered at all. Keep your background professional, and this could well improve your career prospects. All you need really is just a desk and your space, and of course your laptop. When you're preparing for your Zoom meetings, be composed and look the part. Look as if you're just in an office. The way you dress for the office, go about it the same way. Have your files and everything ready at hand. In case you get calls, in case you need the information, you don't have to look around for them. You'll have them right there at hand. During Zoom meetings, ensure that all your computers are hooked up properly so that you don't have to break the meetings, you don't have to interrupt, and always be ready with a pen and a paper to take notes and to do all that you require. You can be very successful working from home because these days a lot of people are doing it. This has been Self-Care Tips. I am Irene Njoro.
Please don't tell Diranjan. He'll be in a panic when he hears.
Should I do that for him? Huh? Just because he's rich and he has the cash?
Go back and tell your boss. If someday I purchase your company, I'll be more generous.
I'm a woman of my word. If I make a promise, I stick by it.
Wow. She's prettier than I'd hoped.
I think he can protect you.
You have to just agree with me that Wizkid is on some really good energy, and he's just doing his thing, and we are loving it. She is now officially into the music industry. She is a secular artist. Guess what? Hatuachani got 1 million views in just 3 days. Can you imagine that?
The beauty pageant celebrates plus-size models and women in general, thus promoting body positivity and a platform to showcase body confidence.
Susanna Owiyo, Jennifer, Judy Bwire soon emerged on the scene, a tradition that has surpassed melodiously.
My name is Muhammad Ahmed Muhammad, the CEO of Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, popularly known as KDIC. The corporation recently increased the protected sum from the previous 100,000 shillings to 500,000 shillings per account. This is the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. In effect, the corporation now covers 99% of the depositors in the unlikely event of a closure of a bank. So KDIC encourages the depositors to continue doing business with our banks that are strong and resilient.
Be sure, check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Well, it's 9 p.m. East African time from wherever you're watching in Kenya and around the world. Good evening and welcome to KBC Prime Edition, this 6th day of December 2021. My name is Mboya.
Good evening, I'm Purity Museo. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to a comprehensive bulletin at KBC Channel 1 News at Purity_Museo at Mboya24. The hashtag to use is Prime Edition.
Our eyes on the news. Tonight, our top stories.
We need to introduce caning back in schools.
We can no longer spare the rod. Education Ministry ponders on ways of taming errant learners.
The killer brews of Nakuru, 6 perish while making merry.
And the 2002 race getting defined. DP Ruto combs Njoro as Raila receives defectors. Thank you very much for joining us.
Lensa Odingo is our sign language interpreter tonight.
Well, we start it off with the Njoro killer story. At least 6 people died after drinking illicit liquor. Njoro Sub-County Police Commander Jonathan Kisaka, while confirming the incident, said that the deceased, who are all men, came from one village.
While 4 others are receiving treatment at the Njoro Sub-County Hospital, Zainab Said reports.
Another tragedy has struck Nakuru County. At least 6 people have been confirmed dead after they consumed a poisonous liquor in Nakuru's Njoro area. All men and from one village.
Under investigation. Even the person you are saying, we have handed over to the MOH for further medical investigation. So we cannot say exactly what or concur with what you are saying, but after what the MOH will find out is when we can say something. So even the whole issue is still under investigation, and we are not even supposed to disclose anything as of now.
According to Njoro Sub-County Police Commander Jonathan Kisaka, the victims were taken to the Njoro Sub-County Health Facility by relatives, police and members of the public following the incident. Harriet Ayuma said she last saw her brother Job Amati on Saturday morning when he was heading to a construction where he worked as a casual laborer.
Nikaambia alikuwa amekunywa pombe kikombe moja na akatapika. Nilipofuatilia county council nilikuta amekufa tayari. Alifika county council kama amekufa na akapelekwa mochari. Na kutoka hapo sijajua nini ilifanyika, lakini niliambiwa tu alikuwa amekunywa pombe kikombe na alikuwa juzi kazini, na vile alikuwa kazini alifanya kazi ya mjengo na akamaliza akapewa shilingi 600, na kesho yake asubuhi akamwagilia maji, na mchana yake ndo alikunywa kombe moja tu ya chang'aa na akatapika na akavuta sigara akajipeleka hospitali. Kupeleka hospitali arudi mara ya pili akasema anaumwa tu na tumbo. Hapo ndipo sikuona ndugu yangu tena.
Ernest Mwangi, a survivor who complained of blood, vision and stomach pain after consuming the liquor, said the substance is usually brought into the village by untouchables.
Kwanza kwa saizi mimi hadi sioni vizuri kweli. Vile nimeamua tu hivyo, nasikia bado nikaa niko mlevi hadi sioni vizuri.
Na hiyo ulevi yenye unasikia ulikunywa lini mwisho?
Nimekunywa juzi na jana. Nimekunywa sana juzi na jana.
The Sub-County Police Commander said detectives were awaiting a conclusive report after post-mortem on the deceased, adding that security personnel were pursuing useful leads on the suspected peddler. In August, more than 30 people were hospitalized at the Level 5 Teaching and Referral Facility and Bahati Sub-County Hospital, with 10 among them a pregnant woman succumbing after taking the poisonous drink in Hodi village within Kiamaina ward. For Prime Edition, I'm Zainab Said.
Now, the Ministry of Education may reintroduce corporal punishment in schools to tame runaway indiscipline cases. Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Mboya says that it is time Caning is reintroduced to discipline errant students who have been taking to burning schools. Professor Mboya, in the meantime, is urging parents to discipline their children. Here's that report.
Speaking at Egentoto Primary School in South Mugirango, Kisii County, during commissioning of new classes, Education Cabinet Secretary George Mboya decried perpetual indiscipline among school-going children and vowed to ignore lobby groups opposed to caning and instilling discipline among school-going children.
We need to introduce caning back in schools, like yesterday.
Mboya also said as a ministry they have supported creation of approved schools across the country in a bid to deal with delinquency among students.
The walking back in the legal framework is on the basis of the so-called human rights. Which human right is there when you want to ban your colleagues in the halls? And that conversation will involve as to whether we still need boarding schools or not.
Similar sentiments were echoed by Interior Cabinet Secretary Fred Matiang'i, who added that it was time a national conversation on the current wanting parenting was fixed.
We need to have a conversation on parenting in our country and discipline in our schools. Na tusiwachie mambo hii kwa serikali, the government. Apana, it's work that we need to do. We have buried our heads in the sand for too long, especially from the point of view of parenting. If you want to know the challenges that we have with parenting in this country, talk to school principals. In fact, I believe that other than those of us in the security sector, the school principals are some of the people who have the toughest jobs in this country.
Recently, several schools in the country have gone up in flames, with the government accusing students. The latest incidents including Maranda High School, which was closed indefinitely for the second time after its dormitory was razed down. On the national examination schedule for next year, Professor Mboya says 2 sets of Kenya Certificate of Primary Schools Education and Kenya Certificate of Secondary Education were ready for administration and were set in consideration with the challenges brought about by COVID-19 pandemic. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
And First Lady Margaret Kenyatta has lobbied stakeholders and communities to support the adoption of alternative rites of passage to replace female genital mutilation. The First Lady asked anti-FGM campaigners to adopt the alternative rites of passage, urging responsible state agencies not to relent in its efforts to end the retrogressive practice.
The First Lady, who spoke in Nairobi on Monday when she launched the Johari Beads Bracelet Initiative's Market Scoop Study and Business Model, a program aimed at promoting trade in beads in support of efforts to end FGM in the country by next year, urged for a strong momentum towards eliminating FGM, saying this country owes it to its women and girls. She lauded the Johari Business Initiative, saying it has the potential to significantly empower women from the pastoral and other communities that practice beadwork.
An emblem of the eradication of FGM. More importantly, they have become a key source of income for women in the 7 counties where this cultural practice is most prevalent: West Pokot, Baringo, Samburu, Turkana, Narok, Marsabit and Kajiado. The proposal to take girls through a 15-day initiation program comprising of sessions on mentorship into adulthood, healthy relationships, life skills training, basic home economics, and the art of bead making is welcome and a way forward.
The First Lady pointed out that FGM poses long-term health risks to young women and often leads to school dropouts and early marriages, thus compromising the opportunities for social and economic advancement for the affected girls.
To achieve gender equality as required by our Constitution 2010 and ensure that Kenyan women realize their full potential, we must end FGM.
She observed that the initiative has become a key source of income for women in the 7 pastoralist counties of West Pokot, Baringo, Samburu, Turkana, Narok, Marsabit, and Kajiado, where FGM is most prevalent, saying it was commendable that the program has reached over 5,000 women and helped them to establish 60 cooperative societies. Sports and Culture Cabinet Secretary Amina Mohammed said the initiative is beginning to gain traction globally, and it had lined up exhibitions in Dubai, Venice, and Milan.
One is to increase market access for communities involved in beadwork through value addition, enhance income for women from bead-making communities, and poverty in line with agendas of the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals.
For Prime Edition, I'm Zainab Said.
The First Lady there rooting for mentorship to replace FGM. Let's take you to the corridors of justice. And the court has issued a warrant of arrest against 2 Pama holding directors, Meriwa Boy Mungai and Purity Joki Mungai, after failing to appear in court for tax fraud. The 2 are accused of failing to remit taxes amounting to 2.2 billion shillings to the Kenya Revenue Authority.
A warrant of arrest has been issued against 2 directors of Puruma Holdings, Mary Mboya Mungai and Purity Njoki Mungai, for failing to appear in court and answer charges of unpaid taxes amounting to 2.2 billion shillings. The 2 face 8 counts of knowingly and unlawfully omitting taxes due in the income tax returns submitted to the Commissioner for Domestic Taxes for the period between 2014 and 2020. According to the directions issued by Chief Magistrate Anti-Corruption Court Felix Mutinda Kombo, the case will be mentioned on the 14th of December 2021, or the earliest the accused will be arrested and presented before court. Meanwhile, the hearing of a murder case facing Khalif Abdullahi Sigat, James Mulikoti, Joseph Odhiambo Sirawa, Edward Kongo Onchonga, and Nelson Kanai, all police officers stationed at Changamwe Police Station, has been adjourned. The 5 are facing murder charges in relation to the death of Kale Botino, alleged to have been killed in the police station. According to a statement by the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, the late Kale Botino is said to have died hours after he was arrested on suspicion of having illegal alcohol at Mikindani in 2018, and a post-mortem examination showed Otieno died of multiple injuries inflicted with blunt force. Through the police officer's lawyer Danstan Omari, the officers have filed an application into the inquest of his death, saying they're also seeking a review of the bail application that had been denied.
And signing was done lawfully.
Meanwhile, Crispin Omondi alias Evans Kiprono had been charged on 9 counts, including intent to defraud Jubilee Insurance over 12,688 shillings by seeking medication through forged documents, has been jailed for 3 years in prison. Finally, Meru Governor Kiraitu Murungi has moved to court to have Iyala MP Mpuru Aburi charged for defamation. Kiraitu, who had earlier withdrawn the application, claims the legislator has been using his media outlet to mudsling him and his family.
He also said that I have accounts in South Africa where I'm banking the money which is being collected in Meru County. So we decided to take him to court because no man, ama ni mheshimiwa, ama si mheshimiwa, who is above the law.
Serafina Robi for Prime Edition.
Moving on to some political news, Deputy President Dr. William Ruto has asked his competitors to stop using the criminal justice system to advance their political agenda. The Deputy President challenged them to come up with an agenda and sell to Kenyans who have the final say on issues of elections. Ruto wondered why his competitors were using the criminal justice system to intimidate and blackmail his supporters.
For the 3rd consecutive day, Deputy President William Ruto continued with his charm offensive in Nyeri County, urging Kenyans to reject leaders advocating for tribal political parties. Ruto assured Kenyans the criminal justice system will not be politicized if he is elected to the top office.
Encourage our competitors. Stop using the criminal justice system to intimidate our supporters. Look for a plan. Look for a manifesto. Sell to the people of Kenya. The people of Kenya are intelligent. They will be able to make choices.
The Deputy President further said the Big Four agenda initiated by the current Jubilee administration will be fully implemented if he takes over the mantle.
If we have to grow the economy of our nation, we must support the SMEs, and the SMEs must be given resources that at interest they can afford and with security they can find.
A section of Mount Kenya leaders accompanying the DP say they will not be intimidated since the UDA alliance agenda resonates well with the electorate.
Mama mboga ako ndani, wakulima wako ndani, hata watu wa kuchoma makaa kama vile nilikuwa nachoma makaa wako ndani, na majani chai na kahawa si tumekuwa tukiwatetea na maziwa, na ndio maana tuliamua tukiwa viongozi wa hapa mlima tutaingia kwa chama cha kitaifa cha UDA.
At the same time, Deputy President has reiterated his commitment to invest more in the agricultural sector to ensure farmers earn a decent living and eradicate hunger in the country. Ruth Wamboi for Prime Edition.
Staying with politics, ODM leader Raila Amolo Odinga says that the Kasarani meeting, slated for Friday, will bring together all Kenyans, regardless of parties, to celebrate and affirm national unity. Speaking while receiving aspirants from Kajiado County who allegedly defected from United Democratic Alliance, Raila said that the meeting will not be an ODM event, but an all like-minded parties.
On Friday 10th December 2021, the ODM party will lead other like-minded parties to Azimio la Umoja convention at Moi International Stadium, Kasarani, where Raila Odinga is expected to announce his fifth stab on the presidency. The convention is the culmination of the handshake between President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga in 2018 that initiated the national healing process following a divisive 2017 general elections.
So that day itakuwa siku ambaye Wakenya watasherekea, Wakenya watajivinjari na Wakenya watasikia hotuba ya rais wa tano ambaye tunatarajia atakubali wale vile wananchi wameambia yeye katika sehemu 14. Siku hiyo ndo tutasikia kama amekubaliana na hawa ama hajakubaliana na hawa.
ODM leader Raila Odinga, while receiving defectors from UDA, described the Azimio la Umoja meeting a reunion of all Kenyans for the sake of nation's prosperity.
Siku hiyo ni sherehe kubwa, harusi kubwa ya Wakenya wote. Mimi nataka kuona watu wa maa wanakuja pale wakijivisha na ile nguo zao za kitamaduni, na wamebeba ile mikuki yao, wamevaa zile nini.
All political parties allied to the handshake have been allocated space for their delegates in Kasarani. The Orange Party has invited 5 delegates from every ward, even as they anticipate the turnout will be overwhelming. Kevin Washira, Prime Edition.
Let's stay with politics. Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi now says the realization of 2/3 gender rule will be a reality in his government. Mudavadi, who will be seeking presidency in 2022, says women play a critical role in economic development throughout the world, and having them in positions of power is key for Kenya to realize its Vision 2030.
Amani National Congress Party leader Musalia Mudavadi says having more women in top leadership position in his administration is one of his key strategies in turning around the economy if elected Kenya's 5th president. Mudavadi, who met women in security excellence, noted that closing the gender gap at workplace is key to achieving Vision 2030 for sustainable development of the nation.
Whatever sector it is, we need good people. We need the entrepreneurship of the women. We want you to venture into areas that nobody has ventured. We want you to help us interrogate our leadership.
Anywhere women are in this country, if indeed we look at the Constitution and we are saying we must include both men and women. Women who we know work 80% more than the men.
If we are given that opportunity, we have a lot of potential. We have a lot of potential to contribute to the society in terms of development, in terms of even expertise.
The former vice president regretted that women continue to face discrimination and exploitation, promising that if elected, his government will champion and uphold equal rights for women. Meanwhile, a section of youth leaders in the country has challenged the political class to have manifestos that are youth-centered.
That procrastination is a thief of time. Whenever you keep postponing whatever you want to do, you give a chance of mark timing on the same spot. And therefore, it is my call to the young people of this country to come out, engage in elective politics, and position yourselves accordingly.
Let us get out of our comfort zones, get into leadership in the National Youth Council, take up ID cards and take up voters' card, and get into the mainstream politics issues, because we cannot be complaining and tweeting about bad governance when we are the ones who decide who gets into governance.
And therefore, we are asking them to revise that statement, and we are asking them to sit with us and to have a conversation with us so that we can be able to tell them what the young people of this country want to hear and what the people of this country want to be able to effect for themselves.
Speaking in Nairobi County, the leaders say the involvement right from the initial stages will be key in tilting the political matrix. For Prime Edition, I'm Gladys Mungai.
Well, coming up, still the COVID situation, among other stories. This is KBC Prime Edition.
Keep tweeting at KBC Channel 1, the hashtag Prime Edition.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya Romans chapter 8 verse 39, bonyeza star 811 star 965 hash.
No power in the sky above or in the earth below, indeed, nothing in all creation will ever be able to separate us from the love of God that is revealed in Jesus Christ our Lord. Romans chapter 8 verse 39.
Ili kupata sikiza tune hii ya Romans chapter 8 verse 39, bonyeza star 811 star 965 hash.
Log on to the KBC website at www.kbc.co.ke to get the latest breaking news, entertainment, sports, politics, lifestyle or business trends from Kenya and around the world. Never miss new episodes from your favorite TV shows, reruns and movies. Just stream online or watch live on your YouTube channel at KBC Channel 1 TV shows. For the day's biggest stories, trustworthy news and family entertainment, log on to KBC Channel 1. Watch what you want anytime, anywhere.
Welcome back. Now, the COVID update situation. The country has so far vaccinated a total of 7.5 million people against COVID-19. According to the Ministry of Health, 4.9 million people have been partially immunized, while over 2.9 million others have received both the doses. The last 24 hours, people have tested positive for the virus from 2,893 samples that have been screened so far, indicating a positivity rate of 1.1%. No fatalities were reported in the same period, and the number of deaths associated with COVID-19 remains at 5,335. Global statistics from the Johns Hopkins University indicate that over 265 million people have been infected, while over 5.2 million have sadly died. Now, a driver to the former Mwingi Central Member of Parliament, Joe Mutambu, died on the spot after the car he was driving was involved in a car accident that's at Kavenge along the Thika Mwingi Highway last night. The former legislator, who was also in the vehicle, escaped with minor injuries in the late night crash that involved a tractor.
This is the aftermath of the fatal accident that left the official driver of the former Mwingi legislature lifeless. The former MP is said to have just left the Nziu River disaster scene, where at least 33 people died after a bus belonging to St. Mary's Seminary Mwingi plugged into the river on Saturday.
Mmoja wa relative wangu ambao anafanya kwangu, ikasemekana kwa sababu wale watu waliangamia pale kwa maji, waliacha watoto Nairobi, akakuwa imesemekana akimbia Nairobi ndio aenda akaleta watoto, na ndipo tukakubaliana kwamba nimchukue, kwa sababu tuliona tukilala inaweza nyesha tena na mto ufunge na wao watoto wako kule na wana mtu pia wakuwe na shida. So mimi nikajitolea na driver wangu, tukasema wacha tukimbie Nairobi.
According to Masinga Sub-County Police Commander Rashid Ali, the former legislature's car rolled several times after it collided with the tractor.
Tumekutana na hiyo tingatinga ambayo ilikuwa inaenda upande wa Kivyoko, mahali sisi tumetoka, na ni kama haikuwa na mataa na ilikuwa katikati ya barabara na haikuwa inaonekana kwa sababu ni ya blue na haikuwa na reflection yote, tumefanya kuingia.
Mutambu and 3 other passengers, on the other hand, survived with unknown injuries and received treatment at Matu Level 4 Hospital. The Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute is calling for planting and conservation of mangroves as they play a vital role in blue carbon projects and mitigating the harsh effects of climate change. Assistant Director of Mariculture at KEMFRI, David Mehera, says there is need to raise awareness among communities on the importance of conserving the trees and how to earn money through selling carbon-developed countries.
Speaking in Kwale County during a field visit to Kenya Marine and Fisheries Research Institute stations in South Coast by members of International Conservation Caucus Foundation, Assistant Director of Mariculture at KEMFRI, David Mehera, said mangrove trees retain a lot of carbon in the soil, hence balancing the ozone layer.
Jambo ambalo tumelichukuliwa kwa uzito zaidi kwa ajili ya tunapoangazia mambo ya blue economy, jinsi ambavyo wananchi wanaweza saidika na jinsi ambao mazingira pia yanaweza lindwa, kwa sababu mikoko pia ni masalio ya samaki, na pia mikoko inaweza saidia hata katika mambo ya tsunami yanapoingia. Mikoko inasaidia ile nguvu ya kufunja ile maji wakati wa vitu kama tsunami.
He cited insufficient budget to fund awareness campaigns, unlawful logging and waste disposal as a setback in their conservation efforts.
So, tunapofanya utafiti sana tunafanya utafiti jinsi ni mikoko mingapi ambayo tuko nayo nchini Kenya, mikoko inaweza ikapandwa wapi, na tunaweza tukaivalue mikoko ile katika kila mahali tukaipatia kama takrimu.
Kisumu County Women Representative Rosa Buyu said there is need for formation of policies to ensure what developed countries pay as carbon credit is commensurate to conservation efforts of the locals.
I think what Parliament does, and indeed what our Constitution does, is it says that the communities must actually participate and benefit from their natural resources, but it does not stipulate the type of benefit or amount of benefit or the percentage. But Parliament can indeed do that, so that we know, we make sure that what the community communities get is actually commensurate with the efforts that they put in.
Dunstan Kitandula, a legislator from Tanzania, called upon East African governments to raise awareness among communities living along the coastline and enact laws that bar waste disposal into oceans.
Tukichukua hatua ya kurejesha mikoko, kwa kiasi kikubwa tutakuwa tumenusuru janga la maeneo yetu ya bahari kumegwa. Sisi kule Tanzania tuna baadhi ya visiwa vimezama kwa sababu ya badiliko ya tabia nchi. Tusingependa maeneo yetu ya bahari yaendelee kumegwa, yaendelee kuzama. Kwa hiyo lazima kama viongozi, lazima tushirikishe jamii kuhakikisha kwamba tunarejesha hifadhi hii ya mikoko.
In 2013, Kemfri launched Mikoko Pamoja, a community-led mangrove conservation and restoration project in Gazi, Kwale County, and the world's first carbon project.
Efforts of the local communities in mangrove conservation is now being recognized internationally, with neighboring countries coming to Kenya for benchmarking, though there is need to educate the locals more on mangrove conservation. For Prime Edition from Gazi in Kwale County, I'm Michael Mondiga.
Cynthia Nyamai is standing by with the day's business, but first, Director of Public Prosecutions Nudin Haji says that his office is in the process of recruiting over 150 prosecutors from marginalized communities to deal with the rising cases of FGM, gender-based violence, as well as defilement and rape cases. Here's more.
Speaking Monday in Garissa during the launch of the Standard Operating Procedures Manual and Rapid Reference Guide on FGM, Haji said that majority of prosecutors will be women because most of the victims of these crimes are female. At the same time, Haji defended himself from accusations that most of the shortlisted candidates are from his community.
Hii team zaidi ina wanawake na tutajaribu kuhakikisha pia hapa kutakuwa na wanawake prosecutors wa kutosha. Tayari tuko kwa njia ya kuandika prosecutors zaidi ya 150. Na mimi najua nimelaumiwa kwamba watu wengi tume shortlist ni wa Somali.
Elsewhere, Loima Member of Parliament Jeremiah Lomurkai has vowed to move to court to stop the planned Tobungulore festival by the Turkana County government, citing its cost implications. Speaking in Lodwar town, the legislator at the same time said will call a massive protest to pressure the county government shelve the initiative.
Mheshimiwa Nanok hawezi kuconduct Tobungulore wakati tunaelekea Christmas. We can only celebrate such an event when our people are okay. When our people have sufficient food, when our people have water in place, when our people do not have elements of insecurity across all our boundaries. There are two ways of stopping. Just going and blocking the bridge so that there is no movement from the airport to whoever will be coming here.
And more than 1,000 youths are said to benefit from driving and short courses within Kiambaa constituency, courtesy of NGCDF Kiti. Kiambaa Member of Parliament Njuguna Wawanjiku said that the initiative will revamp hope to many youths who are affected by drugs abuse and enable them to source for their daily bread.
So promise some driving courses, which we have done now. We have launched the driving school. We are targeting to do 1,000 students who will be trained by Petans through Petans driving school, so that we ensure we empower our young people. Majority of them, they are between 18 and 35. Those people who have applied, we know they are quite a huge demand for these courses, but we have been able to give just a few 1,000 students.
Elsewhere, recent opinion polls conducted by Center for African Progress on the 2022 Nairobi gubernatorial race puts former Dagoretti South MP Dennis Waweru ahead of the pack at 60% against former Starehe MP Margaret Wanjiru, according to the survey, is second with 40%. The research was conducted 2 months ago in Nairobi across 17 sub-counties. Finally, Safaricom has unveiled a new campaign dubbed Pokea Uteo wa Furaha that will see the service provider reward customers with offers and discounts through their product, including data, voice, financial services, among others. The campaign, which kicked off on 1st December 2021 and ends on 15th January 2022, aims to bring back the Christmas cheer and joy following the disruptions caused by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Hii program tutaiendeza kwa mwezi moja kutoka leo mpaka January 15. Tumekuwa na mwaka ambao mwingine ulikuwa ngumu, lakini tunajitahidi kuwa tuko. Kuna vitu nyingi ambazo tunapeana wakati huu wa sikukuu.
Do you have a news story to share with KBC? Get in touch swiftly on email newsroom@kbc.co.ke, call 0723 892 654 or 0734 780 124.
Good evening, welcome to Business. I am Cynthia Nyamai. Now, horticulture exports earned Kenya 145 billion shillings in the first 11 months of this year. This is 6 billion shillings more than the 137 billion shillings the sector earned the country in the same period in 2020. Flowers were the leading export, fetching the country 101 billion shillings, followed by vegetables at 29 billion shillings.
Kenya maintained its grip on the European horticulture market, overcoming the COVID-19 induced global supply chain crisis. The country saw strong demand for cut flowers as Europe bought more flowers to share with their COVID-affected friends and families. In the 11 months to November 2021, Kenya shipped a total of 192 million kilos of roses, mixed flowers, and cuttings worth 102 billion shillings in the period. The leading buyers of Kenyan flowers were the Netherlands, the United Kingdom and France.
The volume of flowers exported increased from 287.8 million kilos last year to 373.78 million kilos in 2021, and this is a 3.3% increase.
The Horticulture Crop Directorate Director Benjamin Tito said the demand for the fresh produce has started picking up as most of the export destinations started relaxing their protocol of the COVID-19 pandemic. During the review period, cut flowers shipped to the European market reached 101 billion shillings, followed by vegetables at 26.8 billion shillings. Fruits earned the country 17.5 billion shillings. The directorate said the volume of fruits exported increased from 99.5 million kilos in 2020 to 110 million kilos in 2021, representing an 11% rise compared to the same period in 2020. However, the value dropped from 17.75 billion shillings to 17.57 billion shillings in 2021, representing a 1% decrease.
However, it is important to note that the value dropped from 17.75 billion to 17.57 billion in 2021.
On resumption of mango exports to the EU market after a 7-year self-ban, Tito stated that all logistics have been worked out and soon the exporters will start shipping the fruit. All the touching issues have been sorted by all the value chains, both from Kenya and European Union. HCD has also said it's going to review the closure of the avocado harvesting season on the 15th of January 2022.
This gives the off-season time to be able to attain the required sizes of between size 22 and 24, especially for Fuete and As varieties.
The Agriculture and Food Authority has called on avocado farmers to wait at least a month before harvesting in order to ensure that Kenya gains favor in the export market. Reporting for Prime Edition, my name is Hibak Said.
Well, we have a story that we have been following for you. We're taking you straight to the airport where the Kenyan government is receiving 4.6 million doses of COVID vaccine. Let's go straight to the airport and listen to what the health CS has to say.
Same date, anybody coming from outside Kenya will also need to be fully vaccinated. And the airlines have been informed that if anybody gets into an aircraft and comes into the country not having been vaccinated, they become the problem of the airline, not the problem of Kenya. Consequently, we would expect that people boarding will indeed be vaccinated. But we will also reciprocate by saying that Kenyans traveling overseas also need to be vaccinated. And so our airlines, Kenya Airways, and our system will ensure that that is the case. I wish to reiterate that we are not forcing any Kenyan to be vaccinated. It is not mandatory vaccination. If you don't want to be vaccinated, that's fine with us. But do not expect us to risk all other Kenyans who want to be vaccinated because of you. So you'll be free to operate in a manner that you can. I'm sure you'll be quite creative in doing so, but we cannot risk other Kenyans because of the fact that one or two people do not wish to be vaccinated. And I am happy and I congratulate Kenyans. They are coming out in droves. They are coming out in large numbers to be vaccinated. And we are happy at the response that we have seen, and is to urge them to continue doing the same. We are asking and appealing the border riders. We know we are working with you. We appreciate what you are doing. It is a question of ensuring that come this day, just protect yourself, ensure that the person you are giving a ride is also vaccinated. We are working with the Matatu people so that by the time you board a Matatu, you are not risking the driver, you are not risking the helpers, you are not risking the other people inside the Matatu because you are also vaccinated. We are appealing to the Interfaith Council, and I'm happy about those people who are urging people to get vaccinated in the churches, in the mosques. We are prepared, and the county governments, as Wambora is here, chairman, and you talk to this, about how we are working with the county governments so that the county governments can also weigh in and ensure that the marketplaces have got vaccination centers. And if we do so, we can save the lives of Kenyans and we can open up our economy and keep the economy going. So essentially what we are therefore saying is that for all that to happen, it is happening because of our own government spending money, exchequer's money, your own taxes to buy vaccines. But at the same time, we are also very grateful for the generosity of our people, of our partners, who have continued to help us. And I would like at this moment, before I ask Wambora, Chairman Wambora, to say something, I would like to invite the German ambassador to also say something, and then I'll ask Wambora to actually pass a vote of thanks for us, and also say how we expect to move forward with the counties. I thank you all very much. I'll take one or two questions afterwards. Where is the mic? Wait.
Well, just a recap of what the CS has said is that the vaccine is not mandatory. However, the government is not going to risk the lives of other Kenyans. They are taking all precautions. He did talk about the strategy that they have to ensure that all Kenyans will get the vaccine, working from the grassroots. He also did mention some of the businesses that interact with Kenyans on a daily basis, matatus and boda boda, when it comes to transport, and what they are doing with them to ensure that they are all vaccinated, because they get to integrate with people on a daily basis. He did also mention that all these efforts are to ensure that our economy opens up. So it is still a business story. Moving on now, East African Community member states have been challenged to upscale manufacturing activities to drive industrialization of the region at a faster pace. This emerged during the ongoing 21st edition of the East African Community Trade Fair in Mwanza, Tanzania, that is seeking to promote innovation and capacity building among micro, small and medium enterprises within the region. Wycliffe Okech reports.
At the official opening of the 21st edition of the ESC Trade Fair in Mwanza, Tanzania on Sunday, Monday was dedicated to exhibitors from Uganda to showcase their products. Uganda's Mensa Kabanda said ESC member states have the potential to grow to middle income status if micro, small and medium enterprises get adequate financing.
This exhibition brings together small and medium enterprises from the East African partner states, commonly known as the Jua Kali, Nguvu Kazi, who represent the informal sector. This sector has the majority of entrepreneurs and very vital in the region's development process. If handled properly, this sector can be a driver towards achieving middle income status by 2050, as envisioned by the East African Development Strategy.
Delegates underscored the need for member states to prioritize buying goods from ESC partner states to develop the East African economy.
But of course, within ESC, we are talking about promote buy East Africa and promote East Africa as well. So we need to deal with our goods first before we look for other goods from outside.
According to Kabanda, who was the chief guest for the day, creation of an enabling environment for the micro, small and medium enterprises to thrive is the sure way to realize industrialization and economic integration within the region.
Let the entrepreneurs learn to believe in themselves, to believe that they can make a difference in whatever enterprise they are involved in. Let them focus and aim higher, benchmark with their colleagues and think out of the box. Let the politicians and technocrats make the dream of the entrepreneurs a reality by committing to support their objectives.
The Kenyan Day at the ongoing ESC Trade Fair will be on Wednesday this week. The trade fair, which is a platform to showcase for locally made products, has attracted about 1,000 micro, small and medium enterprises, of which 300 are Kenyan. Wycliffe Okech reporting from Mwanza, Tanzania.
The government is advocating for the creation of a talents and innovation database that will make it easier for companies, businesses and investors to get innovators and ideas. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru says a centralized system that brings together tech developers, web designers and creatives will attract investors and venture capitalists.
A report by the World Bank indicates that 55% of jobs in Kenya by the year 2030 will require digital skills, hence the need for creation of a talent and innovative database. Speaking at the Innovation Week 2021 in Nairobi, ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru said development of a centralized skills database of talented people and innovators alongside their ideas is critical in the success of Kenya's research and innovation system.
So if today I'm in, say, Kisumu, and I need to find a web developer, where do I find them? We don't have a specific database where you can actually go look for that person. So you find somebody who has a website there, or a local person or a local university, and they tell you we know so and so and so on. It takes time for you to really find the right person.
He noted that investment in research and development by small and large enterprises can power local innovators and startups with high growth potential to attract investors and venture capitalists.
And for businesses, when they're looking for people, they can easily go to this database, find the people, negotiate with them, and hire them very quickly, instead of just relying right now as it is on word of mouth. And similarly for investments.
ICT experts underscored the need to provide support to the innovation mindset among the youth to enable them to compete globally.
With the right skills and an enabling environment, young people can develop homegrown innovations that are uniquely adaptable to the African context.
They noted that there exists a skills mismatch between demand and supply and a weak link between industry needs and training institutions, as well as skills shortage in some critical areas within the national innovation system. Caroline Jinger, Full Prime Edition.
The National Housing Corporation should increase the supply of affordable housing units to match the financing and available demand. Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary James Macharia says the different affordable financing options targeting low and middle income earners, the houses should be availed to the market.
High interest rates have locked out many Kenyans from accessing affordable home financing. This is evidenced by the low mortgage uptake with a paltry 30,000 mortgage accounts. With the introduction of the Kenya Mortgage Refinance Company, Kenyans can now access low-interest home financing. Housing and Urban Development Cabinet Secretary James Macharia says there is need to ramp up the supply of affordable housing to meet the growing demand.
The corporation has the ability to structure financial solutions that can benefit homeowners through collaborations with local banks as well as other financial partners. The projects that ASC makes will benefit Kenyans as they are intended to make housing accessible and affordable.
What we need to do is now to encourage the likes of National Housing Corporation to bring up the supply of affordable units, because the end user financing is available, and it is not available for people in Nairobi, it's not available for people in certain areas, it's available for every Kenyan.
Macharia is also calling for innovation and expansion of the construction sector to grow support enterprises. In line with the affordable housing pillar, there has been a groundbreaking for construction of 10,500 housing units worth 20 billion shillings in Athi River, Machakos County. Of the 10,500 houses, 5,000 units are expected to be sold at between 1 million shillings and 3 million shillings, with the remaining 5,500 targeting the middle and upper income households, selling at between 2 million and 8 million shillings.
If we only focus on allowing our people to build the hinges, today we import hinges, yes. We should be making them here. If you take 5 doors in one house and 4 hinges, let's think about the enterprise that we are going to build. So we can provide dignity to our people, but at the same time we can invest into our economy. That is what this pillar is all about.
Betty Kiptum, Prime Edition.
Well, that's it for business, but don't go too far away. Up next, sports with Karen Kibet.
Welcome back to KBC Prime Edition. It's now time for us to take a look at what's making headlines in the world of sports. My name is Karen Kibet. Now on to our first story. Reigning Kenya Premier League champions Tusker FC are out of the CAF Confederation Cup after a 1-0 loss to CS Sfaxien in a playoff encounter played on Sunday evening at the Tayeb Mhiri Stadium. The Brewers bowed out of the competition after a 1-0 aggregate loss following their 0-0 draw in the first leg played at the Nyayo National Stadium. Ayman Hazi scored the lone goal for CS Sfaxien from the spot in the first half to guide the Tunisian outfit to the group stages. Tuska's elimination from the competition came a few hours after Kenya's other team in the competition, Gor Mahia, crashed out at the same stage after drawing 1-1 with AS Otoho of Congo-Brazzaville at the Nyayo National Stadium. Aiden Mohammed from the National Police Service emerged the winner of the Jamhuri shoot by a Modamp club at Kwenya Range in Magadi. Wilberforce Kereme took the second position with Jeremiah Doki settling for the third place. Theo Ayub Mugo emerged as the overall winner in the junior category with a 90-point score. The competition saw 79 competitors from all over the country and 6 affiliated clubs with the federation taking part. The categories include shotgun, 9mm, pistol and AK-47. In the women's category, Neun Bonaya emerged the winner with Joyce Chebi of Kenya Defence Forces and Irene Wanjiko settling for the second and third positions respectively.
My dad told me that we are going for an adventure today. Then I didn't know where we were going. So we came here for shooting. I would like to join the army and be a general.
Moving on, the team of John Kashangaki, Charles Kiprono, Sanjay Achaya and Mayak Amin carded a combination of score of 107 points to be crowned the overall winner of the third leg of the Johnny Walker Golf Series held at Windsor Golf Club Hotel Country Club. Claiming second position was the team of Karim Charania, Ronan Smith, Stagios and Mtaria Zella, who managed a combined score of 97 points. Count back while the team of Anel Rajay, Navil Sheikh, Frank C and Lizelle finished third with a combined score of 97 points. Meanwhile, John Kashangaki carded 39 points to emerge the winner in the men's category, while Maria Torado bagged the ladies' title. The event attracted a field of 150 players. Following the Windsor event, attention now turns to Nakuru Golf Club for the next leg of the series dubbed Road to Glen Eagles on December 18th.
The course was playing very well, although it had rained today. We were lucky we came in the afternoon and really appreciate the sponsorship and the opportunity for us to move forward.
The former technical director of the Confederation of Africa Football, Abdel Moneim Shatta, has cast doubt over the hosting of the 2021 Africa Cup of Nations in Cameroon. The AFCON is scheduled to be hosted by Cameroon and is expected to take place from January 9th to February 6th, 2022.
The tournament was originally scheduled to be played in June and July 2021, but CAF announced that due to unfavorable climatic conditions, the tournament will take place from January 9th to February 6th, 2021. However, on June 2020, CAF moved the tournament for the second time to January 2022 following the effects of the COVID-19 pandemic across the continent. According to Shatta, the tournament is now facing uncertainty and could be cancelled because the host country is facing problems with finishing the preparations. Cameroon was handed the mantle to host the 2021 African Cup of Nations after Egypt hosted the 32nd edition of the Continental Showpiece in 2019.
And finally, English Premier League action continues tonight as Everton hosts Arsenal at Goodison Park. Meanwhile, Aston Villa bounced back to winning ways after a hard-fought 2-1 win over Leicester City.
So after the spoils...
having suffered defeat for the first time in Gerrard's embryonic reign at home to Manchester City in midweek, Steve will to take on Everton at Goodison Park. Arsenal's midfielder Bukayo Saka is in contention to start, having been restricted to a substitute appearance against Manchester United because of a minor injury, while Granit Xhaka and Sead Kolasinac remain out. Everton defender Yerry Mina has returned to training and could feature for the first time since 2nd October. In the Italian Serie A, Juventus beat Genoa 2-0 to move to the 5th place in the Serie A standings.
All the way through! Direct from...
In the German Bundesliga, Freiburg made a historic win after
time to settle, and 3 minutes later doubled their lead through a well-taken header from Schade, his being 5 goals before the break.
For Prime Edition, I'm Alvin Kaunda.
Beautiful goals right there. Last week, Arsenal were beaten by Manchester United 3-2 at Old Trafford. So at 11 p.m. tonight, I'll be seated to watch and see if Arsenal will be back to their winning ways tonight against Everton. Well, on that EPL note is where we wrap up our sports news tonight. Let's do this all over again tomorrow, same time, same place. My name is Karen Kibet. Do have yourself a peaceful night, but the broadcast is not yet over, as I do hand you back to Tom and Purity.
Karen Kibet, fondly referred to here as Marakwet Express.
Good night to Karen Kibet, and thank you so much for watching Prime Edition this Monday night. It's been a great pleasure having your company. I'm Purity Museo. Lensa Odingo has been assigned language interpreter tonight. We'll see you again tomorrow, God willing.
Well, on behalf of the back-end team, thank you for watching. I'm Mboya. Good night from Nairobi, Kenya.
Good night.
KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Ili kupata skiza tuni hii ya usifadhaishwe, bonyeza star 811 star 961 hash.
Usifadhaishwe na mafanikio ya wengine ukihisi kwamba maisha yako hayana maana. Kumbuka, wengi huzungumzia tu mafanikio yao na si changamoto walizozipitia na ni mara ngapi walianguka. Tia bidii, muda wako utafika.
Ili kupata skiza tuni hii ya usifadhaishwe, bonyeza star 811 star 961 hash.
My name is Mohammed Ahmed Mohamud, the CEO of Kenya Deposit Insurance Corporation, popularly known as KDIC. The corporation recently increased the protected sum from the previous 100,000 shillings to 500,000 shillings per account. This is the highest in sub-Saharan Africa. In effect, the corporation now covers 99% of the depositors in the unlikely event of a closure of a bank. So KDIC encourages the depositors to continue doing business with our banks that are strong and resilient.
Be sure, check out for a KDIC sticker in your banking hall. KDIC, protecting your deposits.
Please don't tell Diranjan. He'll be in a panic when he hears.
Should I do that for him? Huh? Just because he's rich and he has the cash?
Go back and tell your boss. If someday I purchase your company, I'll be more generous.
I'm a woman of my word. If I make a promise, I stick by it.
Wow. She's prettier than I'd hoped. I think he can protect you.
Abantu ba Minto Mbuyamole.
Your favorite Ekegusi station, Minto FM, is now at your doorstep. Enjoy the hottest KC music, informative and entertaining shows, and reliable news only on Minto FM. Tune in to Minto FM on 91.7 FM in Nyamira, Kisii, and its environs.
Minto FM.
Are you feeling happy from wherever it is that you are watching us from? How are you? Sherehe imefika. It is officially December and we are having such a good time, and I am here to bring you nothing but entertainment, full dose of entertainment.